Hi internet people, picking up right where we left off in Riverdale, Betty appears on the scene of a grisly murder in her own home, being cleaned up by Alice. Bum. Okay, so shady guy who showed up is totally dead, and then Alice is trying to clean it up, doesn't want Betty involved, but then Betty's like, Dad is on his way because he calls her, and Betty's like freaking out. I'm just getting into this because I watched this earlier today and I'm just like, oh, I need to talk about it. Betty answers it. It's totally Hal. She's like, Dad's coming to get toiletries. Like, what are we gonna do? She ends up helping her mom. So they literally clean the whole place. Hal shows up, says the house smells like bleach, hardcore. And Alice is like, I spilled tomato soup on the floor. And I'm like, why would you bleach tomato soup? What kind of floor do you have? But like, they wrap the body in the rug and they take it to these abandoned sewers that Alice used to hang out in. And I keep, like, the whole time I was like, Alice is way too good at this. Alice must have done some crazy stuff when she was a serpent. Alice knows some things. Alice Cooper. Oh my goodness. So she and Betty hide the body, but then Betty is like flipping out, which totally makes sense because they're like cleaning up the whole house because they need the guy's prints gone. Like, they're trying to... Betty literally cleans an entire thing of apples. Like, she wipes all of them. They should just throw the apples away, really, is what I'm getting at. But Betty cleans them anyway, and it made it really awkward when I ate an apple later in the day, because I was like, murder! Yes, that's how I'm gonna eat apples from now on. Just like, murder! And then, like, dramatically bite them. No one ate an apple. It's fine. But she, like, passes out. She wakes up in the morning. Jughead things. I'll talk about the Jughead thing in a sec. But she wakes up in the morning, comes down. Alice has made chocolate chip pancakes. Also, Chick, like, does not talk almost this whole episode. He talks very near the end, but, like, this whole other time, no talking is happening. Alice made chocolate chip pancakes. Betty says she doesn't like chocolate chip pancakes, and I'm like, girl, they are chocolate chip pancakes. What is wrong with you? So she makes cereal and then drops the entire bowl of cereal when there is a knock on the door because she keeps having flashes of the scene of the crime, and the door is being knocked out because Jughead told Betty he loved her after they had sex. He called her, and she hung up without saying it back, and he thinks he screwed something up. He literally thinks he screwed up screwing. Sorry, I really wanted to make that joke. I would have said it a different way if I were going with you can use the F word here, and we can't. So if you know what I'm talking about, there you go. Figure out what I was saying. So they walk to school together. Betty puts him at ease and is like, no, it's fine. There was family drama. No, it was great. Like, da-da-da-da. That's happening. While this is going on, Archie and Veronica are also walking to school, and literally Veronica is talking to Archie about, like, how criminal her family is and how a turf war might be happening between the Lodges and the Serpents. And I'm like, oh my lord, what is wrong with you? So they're talking about that. Then while they're all like hanging out together and Betty is kind of freaking out, Kevin rushes in and is like, the scanners have been blowing up. There's been a grisly murder. And Betty's like, oh god, where did they find the body? Turns out someone was murdered at the hotel, but we already knew this because it's Papa Poutine. Ba-bam. But this sends Veronica into a spiral thinking it was her dad. Betty goes to puke in the bathroom because she's been freaking out about the dead body she and her mom hid. Cheryl actually is super nice to Betty and wants to, like, help her, and, like, Betty, like, tells her to go away, and then Cheryl's like, you have some vomit on your collar, and just, like, walks away, and I was like, oh, Cheryl's trying to be nice. So that happened. Then they, like, get back. Betty winds up at some point during the day going to check on the body, which is a terrible idea. Okay. Rule number 1 of hiding a body. Do not go back. Don't go back. Don't touch it. Don't do anything with it. Just leave it alone. You also don't take the dead man's phone. You don't do it. You don't touch it. Because even if you turn off the GPS on a cell phone, the emergency 911 GPS is still enabled. They can still track that phone, which means she's just wandering around with a phone that can be tracked to your place. And yes, I know that because I'm weird. I know things. I do, because I don't leave the location setting on my phone almost ever, unless I need directions, but it literally tells me every time, like, 911 will be contacted, like, can access your phone location in the event of an emergency. That happens with all of them. They can do that. They're allowed. They can ping the thing. But she just has this phone, which Alice is rightfully like, why do you have that phone? Because Betty pretends that she's not hungry. Alice and Chick are playing Clue, and I'm like, why? Oh my god, it was a perfect little, like, thing, and they also had like old Clue, like it was a vintage Clue box, and I was like, this is great. Betty goes through the whole phone and then confronts Chick and is like, dude's a drug dealer, like blah, 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 you were texting him, not a client, blah, 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 blah. Chick just starts crying and she's not buying it. Alice tells Betty to calm down and that they're just gonna like take care of it. This whole time, Hal staying with Penelope Blossom. They are shacking up. And he's not a client because Cheryl confronts her mom about this and says like, Betty Cooper threw up at school, like what is wrong with you? Because she thinks it's the stress of like knowing the dad is like cheating, or like that thinks maybe the strain on the parents is what's making Betty like so stressed out. And Cheryl's like, Penelope's like, he's not a client, it's love. And I was like, shut up, Penelope. Although she could want him. It's very possible. They've all known each other for like a billion years, so it's very possible. But Cheryl is not okay with it. She's also not okay with what her mom's doing in general. Oh my goodness, I totally like hiccup burped. Sorry about that. But Cheryl is totally not okay with it. And wants to confront Hal. And she does actually. She confronts Hal at a certain point. And when she does, Hal says, she like wants him to go home. She's like, I won't tell Betty if you go home. Go back to your wife. Stop being with my mom. Hal does go home and things get worse. Because, okay, so while Betty's been having this crazy like stress out, she winds up telling Jughead, I'm really out of order because I'm focusing on Betty, I will come back. She winds up telling Jughead they literally push the dead guy's car into the river. I think it's a river. I was pretty sure it was the river. And then they make a Norman Bates joke because in Psycho, Norman Bates had the car, he pushes it in the water. But now Jughead knows. The issue is that Jughead knows, Hal comes back, Hal winds up confronting Chick, but Cheryl has told Betty about Hal and her mom, and so Betty goes at Hal and is like, stop or I will tell mom, like, this is going on, and bam, she holds all the cards. On top of all this, other things happened, because Betty calls in, FP. I guess Jughead calls in. I'm not quite sure, like, it is Betty, because Alice is, like, kind of freaking out. Betty says they need help, and they wind up going to FP, who says he's gonna handle it, because he doesn't want what happened with, the Blossom kid to happen to them. So he winds up digging a giant pit, like a huge grave, putting the body in it, covering it in lye and acid, so the whole body will be dissolved by the end of the week, and then they meet at Pop's, which is why I'm wearing my Pop shirt, because I thought that was hilarious. Like, I'm gonna get ready to dissolve a body, and then we're gonna hang out and have milkshakes. So that happens. That's like that whole plot with the Coopers and the Jugheads, but the Coopers and the Joneses. The Joneses also have a plot with the Lodges, because the Lodges want a tete-a-tete so that there's no issue, but Jughead has realized that Mayor McCoy is being paid off. He's figured it out, and he's gonna release an expose. And so the Lodges find out about this, and so when they meet with FP and Jughead, they're like, well, they're gonna pay off the back rent at the trailer park, and no one will lose their homes, but Jughead cannot release FP's name. Jughead cannot release Hiram's name in the Mayor McCoy stuff. And Jughead says, no deal. So, ooh, bad. So the trailer park thing isn't really resolved, but the Lodges are pissed because with that in mind, they want to announce the plans for their project. Mayor McCoy will not allow them because she wants to get reelected. They want to tank her because if she has to leave in scandal, doesn't get reelected, it's all good for them. So they're planning on revealing that she's having an affair. Veronica gives her a tip-off because she doesn't want that to happen to her. And so Mayor McCoy actually steps down. Which makes sense because she's protecting her reputation and her family. On top of all of that, Veronica actually thought her dad killed Papa Poutine. He didn't. He says he didn't. I'm very sure a lodge killed Papa Poutine. Or a capo for a lodge. Because crazy things are happening. So that's all going on. Archie winds up telling Hiram that Veronica was freaking out. All the while, Archie is dealing with the FBI guy, who has been shady for forever. I'm just gonna reveal, he's not really FBI. It was very apparent. Like, he gives Archie cash in this episode, and I was like, that is not how the FBI pays informants. Like, they don't just give them wads of cash. He pays cash. He goes after Fred and says he's going after him because Archie won't give him what he wants about the lodges. Archie winds up telling Hiram, like, this FBI guy contacted me. He wants me to plant a bug in your office. This whole time, I'm like, what is wrong with you? One, you do not tell anyone you've been contacted to be an informant because they'll probably just kill you. I don't know. Like, the whole time I was like, Archie, what are you doing? Why do you trust people? Why? Because I'm like, you're gonna get killed. You're gonna get, the whole time. They're not gonna do that. But the whole time I'm like, they could just kill you. Get you out of the way. Whatever. So he's dealing with all that. He won't tell the FBI guy anything. Reveals everything to Highr'd. Highr'd says he'll make some calls. He'll handle it. Archie then gets picked up by the lodge's driver, who is taking him to the middle of nowhere. And the whole time I'm like, dude, barrel roll out of that car. What are you doing? He winds up getting to a secret location in the middle of friggin' nowhere, and it's not Highr'd, it's Hermione. Hermione has all the capos. I think I'm saying that right. It's people who do her business. But she hired the fake FBI guy to test Archie, and he passed, and they're so happy and welcome to the family. So now Archie's like a gangster in organized crime? I don't even know. But I was like, what is wrong with all of you? What is going on? Oh my gosh. Archie trusts too many people, and it's interesting that Hermione is apparently like secretly in charge, because I feel like Highr'd thinks he's in charge, but Hermione apparently is more than him. It was a lot. It was a lot of stuff this week. They brought Cheryl back in, which is good. Not next week. There's a huge break, I believe because of the Olympics. So Riverdale will not be back until March 7th, which is crazy long. But the kids are all going away for a relaxing weekend. So I believe Tony and Cheryl and Josie, Jughead, Betty, Veronica, and Archie are all going. I'm sure Kevin's going too. So there's at least 8 people going. So they're hanging out. There's going to be a plot with Kevin and Moose and Midge happening in some capacity. I don't know. I feel like something's going on with Cheryl and Tony. I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't know. It's just a feeling I got from the commercial. But there you go. I think that's everything. I think I got it all. I think we're good. Let me know your thoughts on this very intense episode of Riverdale. I feel like every episode is just involving more and more plots that are just like, ugh! Also, Archie just needs to stop trusting people. He needs to stop doing it. But there you go. That's everything. Let me know in the comments or on Twitter. I'm at CleffNotes. You can find me on my blog, cleffnotes.wordpress.com. I work for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, and I run their Snapchat, the Nerdy Girl EXP. Bye, internet people.